Now, chuckling through that was Christopher Biggins. You may have heard him, who joins us to go through the papers, along with former Conservative advisor Claire Pearson. Morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Is there anything in the papers this morning?
Nothing. It's so dull.
Yeah, I mean, it is a completely Westminster-centric day.
Yes, it is. It really is.
For those of us who are above all of that,
Yeah.
it's a bit depressing, isn't it?
It is.
But Claire, if you are frothing at the mouth as a lobby journalist, like so many are, what's going on?
Well, I mean, it's just chaos. I mean, what can you say? The images coming out last night from the House of Commons just show it to be one of the worst places that you could have been last night. I haven't seen scenes like that for, well, forever. And with the whipping operation, you always get those kind of conversations. There are always robust conversations about which way people are going to vote and the sort of encouragement to go through a lobby. Manhandling is different, if that indeed did happen.
I mean, Jacob Rees-Mogg strenuously denying that he saw any of that. He was one of those accused of being involved in some of that. I mean, is it strictly true that this doesn't normally happen? I mean, some Conservatives saying they'd seen Labour whips doing similar in the past under Blair or whatever. You know, it's often a febrile atmosphere. So what's the truth in all of this?
It is. I mean, there have been in the past incidents of people being sort of pushed in the correct direction, but that stopped a long time ago. I mean, the Labour whips, way back when, were quite robust with their positioning of their members. But you have to be if you are a whip. It is your job.
That's why you're called a whip.
Absolutely, they're the party disciplinarians. So you kind of expect that. I'm not sure that Jacob Rees-Mogg would manhandle anybody.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of put the whole thing into perspective. When you saw that name being put forward and you just thought, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that. But there will have been some encouragement. If there is bullying, I'm sure that the Speaker will have a look into it.
Chris Whittaker MP was reported to have said, "I'm effing furious and I don't give an F anymore."
Yeah, I like that.
Words. I mean,
the whip.
Would he have said? Yeah, would he have said that? Do you think you know him? You've messaged him, have you?
Craig Whittaker is a really straight-talking man who I can imagine saying it, yes. I did message him, and just to make sure he was all right, and I did that to a number of MPs, and I did get back some expletives, which was quite funny. He was very angry.
But to be clear, they haven't actually resigned, the whip and the chief whip.
Yeah,
no,
they haven't.
They haven't resigned.
Just swearing.
As far as I know, and as far as I'm aware this morning, they haven't.
Okay.
So the chief and the deputy remain in post. I think the confusion came in. They were told that this was a confidence vote. They whipped the party accordingly, and then apparently that was backtracked on. It wasn't a confidence vote, but they weren't told. So this is why everybody gets angry when you're trying to go down one avenue, somebody's taking you down another, nobody's telling you the truth, and you're trying to get colleagues to do the correct thing for the party, for the country, whatever the reason. So that's why they're angry.
I'm sorry, am I stupid? I think I probably am stupid.
Not at all.
But I mean, here we are in terrible straits. We have so many problems in this country. It's not true. It annoys me, and I don't watch it anymore. You go to the House of Commons, and there they are, snarling at each other, really horrendous-looking faces, shouting, abuse, not helping at all. Why don't they get together and help us? We're in a ghastly situation. We don't need people shouting at each other in these hallowed walls. We need people to do something from all parties.
Well, we used to look at America, didn't we? I mean, I did politics at university. I remember one of our terms was called the divided democracy, and that was looking at America.
Of course.
We've become so divisive here in the UK.
We have.
Yeah, we have. And politics is fractured very, very badly, and I think it does date back to probably sort of pre-2016 time, when the announcement of the referendum was made. You can see the toxicity that has built up. It emboldened the public to make a decision, which was then stood by, and then MPs themselves became emboldened, and this is where you get this adversarial nature coming in. And I think, Christopher's right. Coming together is a better thing, but unfortunately, I think we are past that point.
Yes.
I really, really do.
Yeah, but it serves some politicians and it serves some people in the media to have that divisiveness, to pitch one against the other,
Well, it serves
to talk
Putin
about
as well.
and
And
Putin to talk about Remainers and Leavers, to talk about Tory and Labour, to talk about radical left.
Yeah.
And that really helps to set an agenda, doesn't it?
And also,
we don't want consensualness.
we're dealing with egos too. All these people, everybody who's resigning or leaving or doing something, they would like to be in that. But who would want to be Prime Minister at this time?
no.
God only knows.
And totally aside from all this, she does look like a woman under stress. Talking about egos, Claire, you've chosen the front of the Mail. This is reporting on 90-minute screaming match between the Prime Minister and her now former Home Secretary. Lots of people saying this actually was what precipitated the sacking or the resignation, whatever you want to call it, rather than a minor infringement of national security.
Absolutely. It seems that they had a discussion regarding migration and the access to visas, and the Prime Minister wants to make that easier. The former Home Secretary didn't. So, and this is all what we believe to have happened, this shouting match in the office, which was heard from outside. And I know where these offices are, and you can sort of stand around and listen. But you have to be listening quite intently to pick up things. If they're shouting, it means this was a proper discussion. There have always been distance between the pair of them on what is important in immigration terms. And this seems to have been the red line. And it does feel a little bit like the former Home Secretary has used the sharing of a document to precipitate her resignation. I don't think that was the real reason at all, because what she shared was, okay, it breached the ministerial code.
So she was on the way home from having done a police raid. She was in a car.
Yeah.
She sent an email from her phone, from a private account, to a trusted friend on ministerial matters, which was a breach of the code. But, there's no suggestion it's got into the hands of anybody.
Absolutely, and it was a copy of a written ministerial statement which was to be put out. So the information was mainly in the public domain. It was a draft of a written ministerial statement. So not really sort of matters of national security, but it is a breach of the ministerial code. I thought her letter, Suella Braverman's letter to...
Hand grenade.
It really was. She did lob that one across the line.
Yeah,
It was the
there were a
phrase,
few hand grenades in there.
pretending we haven't made mistakes, carrying on as if everyone can't see that we've made them, and hoping that things will magically come right is not serious politics. I've made a mistake. I accept responsibility. I resign. What do you think she means by that?
I think quite a few things. And I agree with her.
Yeah.
I think, Suella is a very braver man than we think. I mean, she's really hit it on the nail. I mean, I think there's so much feeling against Truss that it's not true. I mean, the people just haven't got the confidence.
Yeah, it feels like the heart of this dispute is the split within the Conservative Party. You've got the Prime Minister here who's saying we need a bit more migration to fill those jobs that need filling so we can grow the economy. So everyone saying, no, we need to be tough on migration, we need to be tough on immigration.
She's in the anti-growth coalition then.
Yeah, well, exactly. and essentially that 90-minute row encapsulates the row within the Conservative Party, which is pulling it apart. Yeah, one of the rows.
Well, it's not only pulling it apart, it's ruining it. I mean, Claire and I were talking earlier. I mean, it's going to take, I think another 10 years before the Conservatives get back in again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because they will definitely lose. If the election was tomorrow, we would be nowhere.
Yeah, and you've chosen the front of the Guardian, which talks about Truss being on the brink. I mean, where do you think this is going to go? Do you think clearly she's not going to resign, or she'd have gone by now?
No.
MPs aren't going to vote for a general election because they would lose if it was to be today. So they have to find some sort of unity candidate, as you're saying, and as we've been discussing all week, there doesn't appear to be one.
No, there isn't. I mean, and it's a hard one because all of us are looking to see who can lead this party and lead it out of the chaos that it's in.
Do we think Shapps is a unifying appointment to Home Secretary, given that he was a Remainer, he was a Rishi supporter, he'll be alongside Hunt now as a centrist?
I think it's interesting when you think that only 10 days ago Grant Shapps was working with Michael Gove, pointing out how bad the Prime Minister was, to now put him into one of the top offices of state.
I thought quite a smart move, maybe.
Perhaps, but I don't think that he will have given up his spreadsheet. And you do wonder what has happened to the chap's spreadsheet.
Yes.
Has he passed that to somebody else? Is he going to be working from the inside? It brings up an awful lot of confusion as to how loyal he's actually going to be.
But just think about how that injection of Excel skills and spreadsheets into the government
immigration.
will help to, they might be able to organise the vote with a big spreadsheet now.
Do you think that that's what we're missing? Somebody
There
with
was
those
lots
kind
of
of skills.
rumours swirling that it was supposed to be Sajid Javid to be appointed as Home Secretary, but then he forced the suspension of a communications advisor yesterday, somebody Stein, first name escapes me, and then he got he got lost the top job because of that.
Allegedly.
I
mean, I do sometimes wonder how much
briefing it
this is sort of smoke and mirrors. And I think that the special advisor who was removed from post pending investigation, I think that that's absolutely nothing to do with this. And it was a little bit of an excuse to put Sajid Javid's name back out there. I mean, he has been Home Secretary previously and would have been a good appointment. But I think a lot of this is just made up.
Yeah, just very quickly, from what you're hearing, some people are saying Liz Truss can't even survive today.
Yeah, I think the feeling is that the end of the week is probably going to be
Tomorrow?
today.
Right, not even tomorrow.
I believe the 1922 committee are meeting later on today with a view to perhaps telling her what the score is.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be sooner than we think.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there was a rumour going around she'd be out by Christmas, but I think she'll be out she'll be able to do her Christmas shopping, actually.
Because Number 10 have said they're going to discipline the 40 MPs that abstained from
Absolutely.
that vote last night, which included Kwasi Kwarteng.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, he was out of the country, but there was also some question whether the Prime Minister actually made it through the voting lobbies herself. So that's quite
couldn't write it.
Couldn't write it.
Couldn't write it, no. But what you could write is in the Sun on the front page. Dench blasts cruel crown, Christopher.
I know. Well, I mean, Judi Dench has played many queens, Victoria and Elizabeth, and
You've got that in common.
yeah, exactly. Queens are our speciality. But I agree with her because Judi is a really sensitive, wonderful actress, and I think it's awful that we've just lost the greatest queen ever, and suddenly they're bringing out this TV series, and it's not true. A lot of it has been made up, and they should say that. They should say this is a piece of fiction, but they won't, because they want people to believe that everything they're saying in this program is true. And it's not.
No, whilst we might know that, when people are watching it in Arizona or wherever it might be.
Or Bradford.
Exactly.
Even, you know, I mean...
They take it as rote.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
you know, and it's a good technical experience, and it's very well done, but it's not truthful.
But
Do
will you be
they not
watching
have a
it?
slate just before it starts?
No,
saying
that's what she
this is
wants.
based and loosely based on...
No, I don't think so.
That's what she wants, and
Yeah.
they're just not doing.
No. I will watch it.
So will I.
I mean, you know, that's the terrifying thing, you know, that we will watch it. But I just think they should be more sensitive to the fact, you know, and the royal family are up for everything. You know, they're game for everything. I mean, it's a terrible situation. You know, look at Meghan, you know, which we're going to talk about later. You know, all of that is against the royal family. And goodness knows what Harry's written in his book.
I know.
That is the terrifying thing, and I don't think he's been able to get out of that.
Well, exactly.
Anyway,
They've
we'll
handed
talk.
over so much. Yeah, we'll talk about it in the next hour because we spent so much time talking politics. But we look forward to it. We'll see you again around the same time next hour.
Lovely,
Thank you,
thank
Megan.
you.
Thank you, Claire.